Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting episode of Top Rope TV. This is Shameless O'Reilly, your host with the most. And before we get started with tonight's show, just gotta tell you guys all to make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and make sure you keep tuning back in to more episodes of Top Rope TV. But without further ado, let's kick things off with another Mark segment. Short segment. Let's go, Ian.
Go through this again.
No, come on, man. You know I got PTSD from getting hit with it so many times. Come on, man. Don't hit me again. Please, no.
And I remember back in the day when Ian Short was taking everybody to Shorty City. Now all he seems to be doing is taking people to Mark City. But thank you, Ian, for another exciting short segment, But anyways, the other week, Team Top Rope had the honor and privilege to get to cover MLW's Fusion over at the legendary 2300 Arena. That's right, the old ECW Arena in South Philadelphia. And tonight we will be bringing to you guys, the Top Rope TV viewing audience, some of those interviews that we got, such as Brian Pillman Jr. with Rick Smooth, our friend with Pro Wrestling Archives, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Georgia Smith, the British Bulldog's daughter, and also we got The Sheik, interviewed by Marvelous Mike Dalton. And without further ado, let's get to our first interview at MLW. So let's get right to it. Hello, this is Shameless O'Reilly with the O'Reilly exclusive here on Top Rope TV. I'm here with Hammerstone.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Awesome, man. Now, how was your match tonight?
You could ask my perspective, or you could go find my opponent down in the emergency room, ask his perspective. So,
all right, man. Now, where do you come from, anyways?
I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow. Okay. So you traveled all the way out here from Phoenix. What do you think of the temperature out here? Culture shock.
The temperature is probably the worst part about everything so far, but it's manageable.
All right. Now, how'd you get your start in professional wrestling, anyways?
Let's see. That was probably close to 10 years ago, and I don't have anything special or interesting. I guess it's just pretty much like everyone else. Wanted to do something, loved wrestling, and figured I'd take a crack at it and never look back.
All right. Now, do you have any inspirations as to who inspired you to become a wrestler?
Oh, man, that list is long and it keeps changing, but, when I was a kid, growing up around the Attitude Era, so all the classics, Stone Cold and DX and all those guys. But, pretty much anyone larger than life. I always wanted to be one of those big, badass guys, and I think I've done not too shabby of becoming that.
All right, and what are some of the highlights of your career, anyways?
Tonight marks the highlight. I just debuted with MLW here. MLW is on the rise, and they're one of the hottest things going today, so to sign with them and debut tonight and be successful in my debut is a big highlight. Besides that, I've got to travel the world. I've got to wrestle for Inoki in Japan. I've got to be in Canada and Mexico, all across the United States. Got to wrestle plenty of my heroes. And let's just keep adding to that list. That's my mentality, I guess.
Okay. Now, who are some of your heroes that you wrestled anyways?
Let's see. So growing up, I didn't have cable. So I couldn't watch Monday Night Raw. And I had to stay up extra late on Sundays or Saturdays and watch Heat or Shotgun Saturday Night or whatever it was. And some of the guys who were awesome, one of the main eventers of those shows was always Gangrel. And Gangrel's actually been I probably had more matches with him than any other wrestler. And he's kind of like a wrestling dad to me. So I always thought he was super awesome. I was always a mark for him. So getting to wrestle him and learn from him and have him as a friend and mentor has been great. But besides that, these days, I look around at my competition. I look around at guys like, your Brian Cages and your Sammy Callahans and Willie Max and all these guys. So getting to share the ring and tear it up with those guys and just stand toe-to-toe with anyone who people want to call the best in the world. I want to get in there with them because I want to prove that I can hang with anyone.
Okay. Now, who did you train with anyways?
So I've trained with a couple people. My original trainer actually passed away recently, so his name was Vince Vega, but he's a real hard-ass guy, luchador, American-style hybrid, and then I trained at the new power plant in Arizona, which had Triple X Lawrence Tyler, Hawaiian Lion. And besides that, I've kind of branched out and seminars here and there, training here and there, but that's where I got my start in Arizona.
Okay, now what kind of training do you do on an ongoing basis to stay in shape for the ring anyways?
I lift all the weights, every last one. I eat all the proteins, and repeat.
All right, cool. Do you have any goals that you want to accomplish for 2019 at all? Or?
Goals. I think I just made a statement in MLW tonight that I'm going to be a player here. I'm always looking to be the top guy anywhere I go. I never want to just be hanging out. Don't want to float around in obscurity. So now I'm here in MLW. This is going to be a big focus for me this year. I want to climb to the top. I don't know who I got to take down first, but I want to get gold around my waist. I want to be looked at as the top guy. And I want to keep traveling the world. I'm a West Coast boy. I've been out all across the country, but I want to spend a lot more time out east this year.
Okay. Awesome, man. Thanks again for the interview, and thanks again, bro. Before the next interview, a word from our sponsors.
Slay the day, baby.
Dragon Slayer Warrior Wear. Slay the day.
Thank you, Hammerstone, and thank you for your time to be interviewed for Top Rope TV. I hope you guys all enjoyed that interview. But up next is Marvelous Mike Dalton and his first interview of the night. So let's see who Mike's got for you.
This is Marvelous Mike Dalton here, and along with me, MLW superstar Rich Swann. First of all, I want to know what your thoughts are on tonight's match that you had tonight.
I had two matches tonight. They both were taped for TV. My first match was against Lance Inouye, and I tell you what, I've known Lance Inouye since the beginning of my career, and I tell you now, he's probably one of the most fierce wrestlers that you ever, would see. This guy chops harder than half the people I've ever been chopped by in my life, and that's a shoot, guys. I've been chopped by Don Fuji, Mochizuki, Kenta Kobashi. I've been chopped by a lot of freaking legends, guys. And I tell you now, Lance Inouye, that boy can hit. Hey, what's up? What's up, Daddy? Oh, I'm going to the party. I'm not sure. The person who is taking people to the party is Jordan Oliver. Hey, who is young, dumb, and broke, by the way. But yeah. Hey, Jordan Oliver and them, they downstairs. I think they probably got room for two more. Hey, we just lit out here, Philadelphia. Today is Teddy Hart's birthday. Just won the tag team championships for MLW. MLW middleweight champion. He's a double champ out this piece. Man, dude, it's been a crazy night, man.
I'd say so myself. I was wondering, why did you freak out earlier? What was going on?
Man, I tell you what, my second match, what I was getting to, I wrestled Ace Austin, and that's another kid, 22 years old. The future is bright for him. And tonight he beat me. He beat me, in the ref size. Literally, the ref counted 1, 2. He saw my shoulder was up, and then he hit the mat one more time and said, "Ring the bell." That was a load of crap. That was crazy. And that's why I freaked out. And, you know, I grew up in this building. CZW, that's where I started, in this damn building. John Zandig just telling people, hey, this is what you need to do to survive. And tonight, it was on some BS, dog.
You know what? I don't blame you, because let me tell you, if that happened to me, I'd probably freak out too.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on here
Hey,
tonight.
man, thank you for having me on top, bro.
Absolutely. This is Marvelous Mike Dalton. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, Marvelous Mike Dalton. And yes, you do equal ratings. And before we get to the rest of the interviews, let's get right to this week's AWA Match of the Night. Thanks again to the AWA for getting us on Ben TV and giving us some more exposure for Top Rope TV and Top Rope Wrestling. So let's get right to it.
Welcome everyone to World Fighting Showcase Britannia, right here from the AWA, the Affiliated Wrestling Alliance. We are bringing you Global Wrestling Federation Commonwealth Championship action. The champion, modern day savage Chris Cage, in the green, taking on the Foxcatcher David Taro, two established veterans here of the AWA. This one coming to you from Wolverley Sports and Social Club. One fall in this one. Referee, the legendary Mass Referee Mr. X from Shaftesbury in Dorset. Foxcatcher sends the bigger man to the rope. Big shoulder tackle and down goes the Wrestling Huntsman, the Foxcatcher. Two very popular men here in the AWA. Leapfrog on the big man. Hip toss attempt by the Foxcatcher, and a big one from Chris Cage, but Taro lands on his feet and respectfully clapping. These two have had many battles over the years here in the AWA, dating back to the HCW days. Looking for a handshake. Here's the Foxcatcher, the Wrestling Huntsman. Great crowd on hand, a very loud one. Here at the home of HCW, Wolverley Sports and Social Club. You can see us next here in Wolverley on Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. showtime on February the 24th. Be sure to join us for the HCW Legends Battle Royal as part of the AWA Lunchtime with the Legends. Collar and elbow tie up once again.
Here we go now. Yeah, here we go.
What the Foxcatcher loses in size against the big man Chris Cage. He certainly makes up for in smarts and savvy. He is a ring veteran. Trained with the Hammerlock promotion. Chris Cage, multi-time champion.
Big tug, big tug.
Through the HCW, and now in the AWA as the Global Wrestling Federation champion. Just a couple of weeks ago here on World Fighting Showcase Britannia TV, we saw him beat Crew Connection number 2 after Johnny Rose relinquished the Commonwealth Championship belt. He beat Crew Connection in a matter of seconds. I believe it was the AWA's quickest match in AWA history. And we're now in the 21st year of the promotion. Both men working on the arm now. Went from Cage having the advantage to Foxcatcher having the advantage, really wrenching on that hand and wrist now as the Foxcatcher David Taro. Very sporting, competitive contest. Great respect from these two men.
Triceps. No, this isn't altered beast.
Using the big man's strength now. Chris Cage raising the arm of the little man. Full Nelson. Applied and a big one. Tries to get to the ropes and he does, which will force the break. Chris Cage has to relinquish the hold there. And we're back to even Stevens. Coming up a little bit later on in the second half of World Fighting Showcase Britannia, we have action from the United States with our friends at Top Rope Wrestling. Stick with us for that one in the second half of the show. Next week, we bring you the start of the World Fighting Showcase Britannia British Heavyweight Championship Tournament. 2 semi-finals coming your way. We wrestled over traditional British rules. Kicking the legs away there. I mentioned it a little earlier on about the ring savvy of the Foxcatcher. Former 2-time Wrestler of the Year. 2016 and 2017. 2018 was won by the current AWA World Heavyweight Champion, T.C. Brown, who we'll see here on the show in a couple of weeks' time, taking on American Kevin Phoenix in a championship unification contest. Working on the already injured knee of Chris Cage as the Foxcatcher. Chris Cage has had a lot of trouble with the knee over the last few years. Pushed off with those big legs and through the ropes goes David Taro, the Foxcatcher. Getting back to his feet now. Here's Chris Cage. Outside the ring after the Foxcatcher. Seems like Taro has no idea he's there. He will do now, though. Went for the big sledge, but caught halfway with a shot right to the midsection. Suplex attempt on the outside. This one could finish off Chris Cage for sure. What do we got here? He's hanging the Foxcatcher up to dry. Look at the fans here in attendance, AWA.
You ain't catching foxes anymore, man.
Dropped off the washing line was the Foxcatcher.
Catch his syphilis.
Chris Cage knows. He certainly wants to beat the Foxcatcher inside the middle of the ring. Straight back onto that knee again. Once again, ring savvy. Big attack on the knee now. As we take a look at the loud crowd at the Social Club here in Wolverley, where we will be on Sunday, February 24th, 2 p.m. showtime. It's Legends at lunchtime with the HCW Legends Battle Royal and so much more. AIWF World 6-Man Tag Team Championship match on that one. And lots more. Be sure to join the AWA Stars for that one. Sunday afternoon, February the 24th, 2 p.m. showtime. Figure 4 leg lock applied. This one could finish off the champion, Chris Cage here. Global Wrestling Federation Commonwealth Championship on the line. Could it be heading to the Foxcatcher? As Cage reached for the ropes, can't quite do it. He almost had it. That's not Chris Cage tapping, that's getting the fans on his side, and he's certainly done that. Reaching for help from the ringside sitters. This one's been on a long time now. He reverses it, and all the pressure is now on the Foxcatcher. The wrestling huntsman in trouble now. There's push-ups from the champion. Still a lot of power left, certainly in the upper body of Chris Cage. But Foxcatcher is giving it all he's got. Middle turnbuckle now from the Foxcatcher. He's caught and dumped like a sack of potatoes. Rock bottom from Chris Cage. And both men are now on the canvas. The referee starts the count. This could be a case of whoever's back on their feet first wins the match here. Pretty even though. Clothesline from Chris Cage. The big man. Back in the match now. From the ropes to the DDT. Chris Cage seems to have it all sewn up here. If we see an RKO, that will be all she wrote. It was attempted, but the Foxcatcher cuts him off at the pass. And now, David Toro back in control. Foxcatcher calling for the hunt. This is his Bronco Buster style move. It certainly sets up the end for any opponent. Right down on the chest of Chris Cage comes the Foxcatcher, bringing him back. Center ring. Could it be for a pinfall attempt? Or is it gonna be the Foxcatcher's version of the bonsai drop?
I say I'm gonna hunt down him right now. Oh!
Mouthing off to our camera crew. Power bomb, and it is. And a big one. From the tall, strong Chris Cage. Kicks that knee away once again. Goes for a drop kick, just missed it. But Cage hung out to dry now. Looks like the pomme de terre. Cage catches the feet. Cage catches the feet. Up on the shoulders of Chris Cage is the Foxcatcher. And there's an RKO from the shoulders. Both men are down now. This is Crew Connection. Crew Connection. Number 2 was the man that got beaten in a matter of seconds.
Okay, folks. I hope you guys all enjoyed that match. So I'm going to put up a flyer next for 1CW Wrestling on March 10th. Come on out. It's going to be an exciting wrestling show. The details are going to be up on the flyer I'm going to put up next. So hope to see you guys out at that one. It's going to be an amazing show. Up next is Rick Smooth, our friend with Pro Wrestling Archives, as he interviews Brian Pillman Jr. So let's get right to this exciting interview.
I'm here with Pro Wrestling Archives with Brian Pillman Jr. at the MLW show at the ECW Arena. This is a historic night for Philadelphia Pro Wrestling, and I'm here with Brian Pillman Jr. Brian, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. This is a very nice microphone. I've never seen anything like it. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking.
Hey, you're not running this interview. I'll hold the microphone, but you can go ahead and speak again.
Well, I'm not trying to take away your constitutional rights or anything like that. But thanks for interviewing me. You know, it's nice to get my voice out sometimes too.
Yes, you're a very lucky person to be standing in the same room as me. So, do you have any questions for the young stallion?
Well, so how does it feel to be the newest member of the New Heart Foundation?
Well, you know, it's great. It's great because when you're born into a family like the Hart family, there's really no limit on what you can do in wrestling. There's no limit on what you can do in life. But the New Hart Foundation is being prolonged because of this unison, because of Teddy's ability in the ring, because of Davey's physical prowess, and of course because of my mullet. My mullet is the reason that we're going to take the New Hart Foundation to the top.
Wow.
Yeah, so you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. I got the best hair in the business. There's really no arguing with that. Take it away.
I have to agree with him on that. And, you know, my last name is Reinhardt, so I feel somewhat related, maybe a cousin to the Harts or something like that.
Yeah.
But, so question for you. So we know that, you know, in the year 2019, the world's got a lot of problems. I wanted to hear this straight from, you know, a revolutionary son's mouth. You know, what do you think needs to happen in the world today if there was some kind of revolution, uprise, or something that needs to change?
To be honest, we have a lot of weak men in the world right now. A lot of guys that just don't want to stick up for themselves. They don't want to put their foot down. You know, they get walked all over. Guys smoking pot and playing video games all day, and you know, not getting laid ever. Just a lot of the world's getting a softer place. You know, when my dad was breaking into the business, guys were tough. You know, they fought each other, they wrestled each other, and today we just fucking go back to the fucking house and play video games and jerk off. Am I wrong? Who's watching porn? Are you watching porn? Are you watching porn?
I'm a little old. I'm 34.
He's watching porn.
I watch porn.
He watches porn. Hell, I fucking watch porn sometimes. But just like porn, it's the devil's lettuce, and it's holding us back from conquering the world. So,
well,
if you want to be the next Genghis Khan, you can't watch porn.
Well, I got to say, we're going to get off the porn for a second here. You know, we'll let you do that in your spare time. But question for you. So how do you feel about the relationship between Stone Cold Steve Austin and your father, Brian?
It was very imperative to my father and Steve's career that they intersected at that time. You know, my father went on to have the success that he had. And, of course, Steve Austin went on to have the success that he had. So I think they complement each other in many ways. I think at the time, Steve was a great in-ring psychologist. He was very good, much an in-ring general. And my father was very much a promo package, you know, the looks. He had it all. You know, he had the moves and stuff. So they complemented each other very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was very interesting how when Steve was really getting over, you know, that was at the height of him and Brian's feud. So I don't know if Brian always gets enough credit in all that. But I know that he was definitely there and definitely pushing Steve, you know. So I think that concludes the interview here, and thank you.
Wrapping it up already, all right.
We're wrapping it up, you know. Thank you.
All night, but thank you very much.
Booker Man.
Thank you for this little microphone. It's great. Booker Man. Woodstock. What's that?
Cool town. You should check it out.
It's in New York?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a concert called Woodstock?
There was.
Sounds like a bunch of hippies live in Woodstock.
Yeah, a bunch of hippies. Yeah.
Cool hat, though.
There we go.
Thank you, Rick Smooth, and thank you to Brian Pillman Jr., and thanks to Pro Wrestling Archives for that exciting interview with Brian Pillman Jr. But up next is the interview where I had the honor and the privilege to interview the British Bulldog's daughter, Georgia Smith. So let's get right to that one. This is Shameless O'Reilly with the Shameless O'Reilly exclusive here on Top Rope TV. I'm here with Georgia, the British Bulldog's daughter. How are you doing today, Georgia?
I'm very good. I'm very cold here, but I'm very good, thank you.
Now, you came all the way up here from Tampa, Florida, too. How do you feel about that?
temperature shocked. I think my blood's gotten, or my skin's gotten thinner or something. But yeah, I'm definitely not used to this cold weather. But I'm really liking it here in Philadelphia, and I'm at the original ECW arena, which is super cool. And I'm seeing my brother Harry Smith and my cousin Teddy Hart and Brian Pillman Jr. wrestle tonight, which I'm really looking forward to. So all around excited.
Okay, now can you tell me what was it like growing up with the British Bulldog anyways?
It was pretty cool. I had a really awesome childhood. Yeah, lots of trips to wrestling shows. Kids didn't believe that my dad was the British Bulldog until he would pull up in the car and pick me up, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, that's your dad!" But as well, I didn't really get to see my dad that much. So there was some really good highs and some lows with it. But overall, I couldn't have picked a better dad.
Okay, now, what are you doing in the wrestling business these days anyways? Can you tell the fans of Top Rope TV?
Honestly, I work at iHeartMedia in Tampa, Florida. I work at 933 FLZ, so I do a lot of media work. I do social media, special events. I do midday programming, and I do on-air talent work. So I do that, but I love to do on-screen interviews and be on screen ultimately. So MLW invited me, and Be in Sport invited me here tonight to do some on-camera things. So I jumped at that opportunity to do that, and it's been really cool so far.
Awesome. Now, is there anything else you'd like to talk about at all? Like any experience you had growing up? I know you're close to Brian Pillman Jr. and do you know Brian Pillman Sr. at all too? Or?
Yeah, I did. I met Brian Pillman Sr. The last time I saw Brian Pillman Sr. was after the In Your House show in 1997. Do you remember the Calgary one?
Yeah, I remember that one.
You just remember? Yeah, you might remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
So the last time I saw Brian Pillman Sr. was we went to my grandpa's house, the Hart House, after the show, and he was holding a cat. Coincidentally, Ted's got a cat here tonight, so it's like full circle. But yeah, he was holding one of my grandpa's cats, and that was the last time I saw Brian Pillman, was at my grandpa's kitchen. And I just met Brian Pillman Jr. today. Actually, we were on the same flight from Atlanta. I had a stop over in Atlanta, so we met. And it's just like we've always known each other. It's crazy. Let me see. Anything else you want to know?
I don't know. Just did you ever get to go backstage at all at any wrestling events with WWE, WWF back then?
Yep. All the time. Yep. Yeah, I was pretty much more backstage than I was in the audience. So, yeah, it was really fun though. The headbangers would always play with me and my cousins and my brother, and I loved Shawn Michaels when I was little, and I loved bugging him. And I really liked Sunny when I was little. Goldust I really liked. So yeah, just a bunch of different characters in my life. And let me see, anything else?
Now, did you ever meet the McMahon family, like Vince McMahon, Shane, Stephanie, Linda?
Yep, I've met them all numerous times. Yep. I haven't seen Vince in a few years, neither have Stephanie, but yeah, if I were to tell them, they'd know right away who I am, and I kind of look a little bit like Davey. Okay. So they know me, but yeah, they're good people. They're good people.
Okay. Now, what was it like being backstage at a WWF event too?
It was fun. It was really fun. Catering was fun. Sometimes it may have gotten a little bit boring. I remember one WrestleMania. Do you remember when my dad and Lex Luger, they had to do some thing with Jonathan Taylor Thomas? Do you remember that? It was at a WrestleMania.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
But I remember they filmed that for hours, and I remember I was sitting on a concrete wall, and I literally fell asleep, and it was so cold, and Undertaker came up with he had this leather jacket and put it on me because I think he saw I was cold and asleep. And next thing I knew, it was the interview was over, and then we had there was the Slammies after that, and I fell asleep at the Slammies when I was 8 years old. But yeah, my mom kept us occupied. But yeah, it was super fun. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know.
Okay, now you said you saw the Undertaker backstage and got to know him. What kind of person is he like, anyways?
Very quiet, very super quiet, but really really nice. Yeah, he's very much I don't know if it's like on his terms with things, but like I know he can be like a bit funny when people ask him for like pictures and autographs and stuff, but he's always been nice to me. He's always been fine with me, but I've just heard some things, but I think he just kind of like just likes to keep to himself.
Okay. That's cool. Well, I think that's about it. Do you have anything you'd like to plug at all, or?
Watch MLW. If you've enjoyed seeing me, you'll see me on here tonight.
Awesome. Thanks for the interview. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Georgia, for an exciting interview. I'm glad to have the opportunity. I've met you and got a chance to talk to you on the show, and thanks for agreeing to be on the show to do an interview. But up next is another interview that I did with her brother, the British Bulldog's son, Davey Boy Smith Jr., one of the members of the new Heart Foundation. So without further ado, let's get right to that one. Yo, this is Shameless O'Reilly here. I'm here with Davey Boy Smith Jr. How you doing tonight?
I'm very good. It's been a long day, a little bit tired. Had a show for New Japan the past couple nights, flew from LA to North Carolina, and then MLW today. So it's been a busy day.
Awesome, man. Now, what are some of the highlights of your career that you got?
Well, I had one tonight. Just won the MLW Tag Team Championship along with Teddy Hart. The New Heart Foundation won the WWE Tag Team Championship, New Japan Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championship. I've won some submission grappling championships for Naga and Expert Super Heavyweight Division, which is all holds legal submission wrestling, grappling. Won the Billy Robinson Classic in Super Heavyweight Division, pins and submissions. Those are all great highlights and accliments to my career. It's been a really, really awesome experience being with MLW so far. And Teddy and I were signed now to MLW exclusively, so you're going to see a lot more of the New Heart Foundation. I'm very, very excited about it.
Awesome, man. Now, what was it like growing up with Davey Boy Smith Sr., your father?
You know what? It was a great experience. You know, unfortunately, my father was away. He was on the road a lot. But, you know, growing up in the Heart House, training in the Heart Dungeon, was certainly an awesome experience. I wouldn't have traded it for the world. Yeah.
Now, do you have any memories backstage at all?
Yeah, you know, I remember I used to play backstage with all the guys. Bam Bam Bigelow, he taught me how to use a yo-yo, which I can sort of do now. I was always good friends with the Nasty Boys, still am. Okay. Of course, you know, my uncle Brett and Owen, Bart Gunn, Steve Blackman, they were good friends of my father's too, and I got to know them a little bit also.
Yeah, how long have you been in the business for by yourself anyways?
Since I got out of the wound, I think.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Thanks again for doing this interview.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed those interviews. But up next is a never-before-seen interview. And that's right, it's with the one and only Marvelous Mike Dalton. And I guarantee this interview is going to equal ratings because he is interviewing The Sheik. So let's get right to that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this segment I like to call The Shoot. I'm your host, Marvelous Mike Dalton, and with me right now I got the almighty Sheik. What do you think? What are your thoughts about what just happened right now out there in front of the audience? Your thoughts and your views.
I've been all over the world, and it looks like me and Fatu found ourselves another home. We're the greatest tag team in all of wrestling today. The Sheik and Fatu, soon to be all over the world together. But right now, we're here, right here at the Philadelphia, what is
2300 Arena.
2300 Arena, one of the most world famous arenas in the world. And we're here and we showed the people old school still lives, what's old is new, and we're the greatest tag team in the world today. We're here to prove it, and we just did.
Any plans on dominating Major League Wrestling?
That's all we do. That's all we know how to do. With Fatu behind me, with my knowledge, this is the AK-47. Fatu is the bullets, and everybody out there is the target.
Right now, what I'd like you to do is just say whatever on your mind, shoot, burn the carpet down, shoot on anybody you like, rip it up.
I need a shower right now. I got blood all over me. That's the only thing on my mind. And a beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. This has been The Shoot. I'm Marvelous Mike Dalton. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, Marvelous Mike Dalton, for another exciting interview. And that interview, I gotta say, equaled ratings, baby. But up next at the MLW show, there were some new champions crowned. So I'm gonna get to this interview I did with the new MLW champion. Yo, this is Shameless O'Reilly with the O'Reilly exclusive here on Top Rope TV. I'm here with
Filthy Tom Lawler, the new MLW World Heavyweight Champion.
Congratulations, brother. How's it feel to be the champion?
Well, it's only been a few minutes, so I'm not really sure. I'm sure my life will change drastically over the next few days. Endorsement deals are going to become flying in. Women are going to be throwing their panties at me as I walk down the street. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, but right now, I know I'm savoring this victory.
Awesome, man. Now, do you have any inspirations growing up to become a pro wrestler?
Yeah, of course. I mean, pretty much everybody I saw in that damn ring get in there and do it, you know. It takes a real man to step up and see what they're made out of. So anybody that gets in there, is a real tough guy. You know, coming from an MMA background, obviously big fan of Ken Shamrock, Dan Severn, some of the old school shooters. So that's cool.
That's cool. How long you been in the business for anyways?
Started wrestling 2005 was my first match. Then was doing MMA for a while and going back and forth between the two of them. So first fight was 16 years ago. First wrestle match was 14, I guess. So it's been a while, you know.
Now, what are the different promotions you've wrestled for anyways?
I've been here for MLW over the past year or so, or 2 years. I fought for the UFC for 10 years. You know, fought all around the globe. So,
what was that like in the UFC, anyways?
Yeah, it was pretty intense. You know, you can see the action here in MLW. You know, it's pretty rough and tumble out there. Just a little bit different rule set they have to get accustomed to in the UFC, but you know, it's all a fight when you're out there. So.
Okay. Now, how does it compare to professional wrestling, anyways?
Yeah. It just depends on how you're looking at it. You know, the training, obviously for both of them is really tough. The worst part about pro wrestling is the wear and tear on your body, going from city to city, performing every night, day after day. Really takes a toll on you. So.
All right. Do you have any goals within the next year you would like to accomplish?
Just keep defending this bad boy all across the world. Keep raising its name.
Awesome, man. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you.
Cool. There you have it, folks. Another exciting episode of Top Rope TV. I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode. And like I said in the beginning, don't forget to hit the bell and hit the subscribe button. And just keep tuning back in. There's some exciting things going on in Top Rope this year. And just been a pleasure and an honor for us to get to cover MLW. And thanks to MLW for allowing us to come in there and do the interviews. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be part of the team. And just want to thank you guys again for allowing us to do the interviews. And thank you to everybody that we interviewed for being part of the show. But thank you again to MLW, that's Major League Wrestling, for letting us come and do what we did with doing these interviews and just covering the show. And I really appreciate everything that you guys did. And I definitely look forward to being back and being part of the crew at the next MLW show. So thank you guys, and for anybody watching, make sure you look up MLW, Major League Wrestling out. They're an awesome league. They got a lot of good names, and they got a lot of up-and-coming superstars. So check them out. You won't regret it, and make sure you come back out. They have other shows coming in the Philadelphia area. And until next time, keep your wrestling in a headlock. We'll catch you next time on Top Rope TV.